Now at 5:30, we're tracking a breaking news alert out of Clark County this morning. Police in the area on alert after state police tell us an inmate escaped from the detention center there.
Also at WKYT this morning, a man is set to be arraigned today in Lexington after police say he has been arrested for dismembering his girlfriend.
Scary moments for a pizza delivery driver overnight after Lexington police say he was robbed of his pizza and cash while on the job.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome aboard. Here we are on your Wednesday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope you're having a fabulous start to your day. Oh, a warm up. That'll be nice, at least for a little while.
For today, and then very cold tomorrow, it sounds like. But then things get better again. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris, who's tracking all of that. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, it looks like as we go toward the afternoon, remember, this time of year, we are in the lower 40s, and we're going to be nowhere near that. Actually, upper 40s to around 50 degrees, what we're expecting. Live sky camera, it's a beautiful morning. I don't see anything going on really the next 24 hours. Well, the next 12 to 18 hours, I should say, because tonight it'll change. You see the 30s out there, enjoy them now, because tomorrow morning we start off in the teens. But really it's about the temperatures today being near 50 degrees. And then tonight, that's when the bottom drops out, and that's when some snow moves on in too. But really, watch this. Midnight, snow to the north. 8 a.m. snow to the south, so you get it. It's going to move through pretty quickly and get on out of here pretty quickly. But how much are we expecting? Well, I'll show you that coming up.
All right, thank you. WKYT with breaking news out of Clark County this morning. We have now learned that police have caught an inmate who had escaped from the detention center there.
State police tell us that inmate is 31-year-old Robert Allen O'Hare, and he was reported missing just 2.5 hours ago. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is live from Clark County with the latest on his capture.
Good morning, everyone. Well, that inmate is now back in custody after being gone for about an hour. Jail officials say 31-year-old Robert O'Hare went missing from the Clark County Detention Center around 3:15 this morning while on trash detail. Winchester police found him a few blocks away around 4:30. Jail officials say O'Hare is a level 1 state inmate, which means he was allowed to work in public. They say he's been a good inmate, but they believe that he recently received some distressing news which may have caused him to run away. O'Hare was last arrested on October 18th. His record shows several charges, including a parole violation, theft by deception, fleeing or evading police, and resisting arrest. Jail officials say O'Hare will now have an escape charge, which is a felony. Live in Clark County, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
We are tracking another breaking news alert this morning out of Madison County. That's where firefighters are working on putting out a house fire.
It's on the edge of the Richmond city limits, happening right now on Catalpa Loop Road, just off Kentucky 52 in Richmond, not far from Lake Reba. One firefighter says there were heavy flames and smoke when emergency responders got to the scene. We do have a news crew at the scene. Police are not allowing us to get through to the actual site of the fire, working to gather more information as to why, and we'll bring you the latest details just as soon as they're available to us this morning. We're tracking a developing international story. 15 people are dead this morning after a plane crashed in Taipei.
And this is unbelievable video. The flight clipped a bridge just after takeoff and crashed. You can see it. Ooh. Into a river. The TransAsia Airways plane was carrying 58 people when it went down. Dozens of passengers are still missing. The death toll is expected to rise as crews clear the sunken fuselage. This crash comes not even a year after another TransAsia flight crash, killing 49 people. Well, a young man says he's relieved after learning that a man's been arrested for the murder of his mother. Lexington
police have arrested 59-year-old Paris Charles for killing his girlfriend, Goldie Massey, last fall. WKYT's Mark Barber is live for us this morning from District Court, where Charles is set to be arraigned later today. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. When I talked with Goldie Massey's son back in December, he said even though he couldn't prove it, he believed that his mother's boyfriend killed his mom because he said they had a violent relationship. Well, he says now that Paris Charles is finally charged with his mother's murder, he wants justice for his 50-year-old mother. Goldie Massey's son reported her missing back in October. Weeks later, parts of her dismembered body started washing up on the banks of the Kentucky River in Henry and Jessamine County. Her 59-year-old boyfriend was arrested yesterday on Chatworth Drive, where investigators spent hours removing evidence from his home. Officers tell us Charles dismembered Massey last fall. We talked to Massey's son about the arrest from the Bourbon County Detention Center, which is where he's being held on a robbery charge.
My mom always told me to forgive people. I mean, I think if you take someone's life, your life should be taken. But at the same time, I think that's too easy. I think he should have to live out the rest of his days in prison if he's in fact guilty, and the rest of eternity in hell.
Charles is charged with murder and abuse of a corpse. He will be arraigned later today. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Well, new this morning, Lexington police are searching for a man they say robbed a pizza delivery driver. This happened just before midnight at the 400 block of North MLK. Police say a Goodfellas pizza delivery driver went to deliver an order only to find out the home's number did not exist. He called the customer back and they described a nearby home. Police tell us that as the driver walked up, a masked man approached him and pointed a gun at him. The robber got away with the pizza, soda, and the driver's cash.
5:35 now on WKYT, and also new this morning, police have arrested two men who they say robbed a woman at a Lexington motel. Police tell us they were called out to the Sportsman's Motel around 6:30 last night. A woman there told them the two men came into her room and demanded money from her, threatening her with a gun. Police later arrested 57-year-old Michael Jackson and 23-year-old Jonathan Cross for the crime. They found the men at Bryan Station Inn. Police have arrested a Rowan County couple who they say put their infant in danger. State police charged 31-year-old Carlin Engelbrecht and 21-year-old Jesse Stacy with wanton endangerment. Tuesday morning, police say someone noticed the couple's infant alone in the driveway of a home on Freestone Road. Police say they could not find the child's parents at first. They say they took the child to the hospital where the parents later showed up. The infant was not injured and is now with social services.
A Martin County woman is charged with neglect after a man died of a drug overdose at her home. 48-year-old Pierrette Thompson is facing neglect and other charges. Police say Pierrette, her son Roger Davis, and 57-year-old Johnny Reed were partying for the Super Bowl when Reed overdosed on narcotics. Police say Pierrette and her son did not notice something was wrong with Reed until it was too late.
They weren't that concerned about him because of the drinking and the medications that he had taken. And finally they realized that he wasn't moving and discovered that he was dead.
Police found a large number of empty pill bottles at the home as well. Thompson denied a request for an interview from jail. At least 7 people are dead after a commuter train slammed into an SUV in New York City, that area there. The victims include the driver of the SUV and 6 people on the train.
And 12 other passengers were injured. Don Champion has the report out of New York, where officials with the National Transportation Safety Board will be on the scene this morning trying to figure out what happened.
More than an hour after the deadly collision, smoke still billowed from the front car of the Metro North train. Headed to suburban New York from the heart of Manhattan at rush hour Tuesday evening, the train never made it to its destination. Investigators say it crashed into a Jeep Cherokee stopped under a gate on the tracks, triggering an explosion and fire.
The third rail of the track came up from the explosion and went right through the car.
Hundreds of commuters were on board at the time.
When I heard the extent of the damage to the first car and I saw that it had burned completely, I couldn't even imagine how many people were in there that had lost their lives.
Others escaped the charred front cars of the train by jumping into the snow below.
Get out of the train, it's freezing cold out, and then you realize how fortunate you are.
Even in the overnight hours, investigators could be seen going in and around the train. Meantime, service on the rail line where the accident happened has been suspended. Metro North is the nation's second largest commuter rail line and serves close to 300,000 riders in New York and Connecticut a day. Shuttle buses will now be used to transport commuters in the area.
When things will get back to normal on the Harlem line, can't say.
Tuesday's accident is the deadliest in the railroad's history. Don Champion for CBS News, Valhalla, New York.
Well, the train dragged the car about 400 feet down the tracks. The NTSB will investigate last night's crash. The agency has investigated 5 Metro North accidents over the last 2 years. And in the worst of those, 4 people were killed when a Metro North train derailed in the Bronx in 2013.
Well, a gas leak forced firefighters to evacuate a dozen homes in a Lexington neighborhood. Firefighters say someone noticed the leak on Sandhurst Cove off Patch and Wilkes last night and called for help. Firefighters evacuated the home as a precaution. They say no one was injured. Columbia Gas officials say a small gas line inside one of the homes caused the problem. Firefighters checked gas levels inside all the homes before allowing folks to go back inside.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul clarified some comments that he made about vaccinations. He created a stir after saying that he was aware of many cases of children who ended up with mental disorders after being vaccinated. But in a statement last night, he denied ever saying vaccinations cause mental disorders. He said the cases he referred to were only connected by time. Senator Paul also said that he believes vaccines have saved lives and should be given to children. Senator Paul is an ophthalmologist and a potential candidate for president in 2016. The committee in charge of drawing up new zones for Fayette County schools has made a few new agreements. Committee members say they agree that students entering the 5th, 8th, 11th, or 12th grades, the year that rezoning takes effect, would be allowed to stay in their current school. And students being zoned to a new high school during their sophomore, junior, or senior years would be allowed to finish in their current high school. The committee is still in the process of drawing up school boundaries.